My name is Vusi and I'm your host. Itawala Mzansi. Vandag showing ya runa, I've got a very beautiful lady. Kim me by the way. She's in the current affairs of the country in terms of the trade unions and all that. A former president of Numsa, former president of federation that is SAFTU. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get your hands together for Mme Ruth Ntlokotse. President, who's on occasion?
No, I'm right.
What's up?
Okay. I'm super.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Ratabela, we accept our invitation. Get the you busy. You're very busy in the society. So luna re leboa go lo ba lwena ka jeno. Whether ya bata man ke Maria.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kinako.
Ke nako ya teng.
Yeah.
Ke nako ya teng. President, ke batla go tlo discuss a few things, if not a lot of them, that has to do with the community. Because of yourself, you are an activist. And the teaching it is that if you are an activist, not only organization, even in a community, you need to be involved in whatever that is happening. So re tlo bua about that. Re bue also ska re ya re faceitse kgwedi ya bomme, Women's Month, hore maikemisetso ina le afeng before and moving forward ho etsala eng. So ke batla re engage re be free, re flowe fela. Ha rena ntho tse ngata. Or if information, school us where you can. So that's what basically we are about. We are a podcast that is based on Togoza, but our touch issues are Togoza fail. We're all over. Because our podcast is about empowering, educating people. You know, it is important that to this platform we educate. So that's our intention. Now, Haki check your bio quickly to education. There's a lot that we need to discuss. What are you on Harry? Kichekile mola baru uyenze engi MA degree. Ki master of what? Of arts. And uyenze for how long?
Okay, no, thank you so much and thanks for inviting me. I think it's a pleasure to share this platform.
100%.
And really, ke le wishes are well, success, ka podcast, the platforms that tshwana le tse so, especially tse kgonang hore di fane ka a platform to the most vulnerable and the destitute, because we tend to be ignored by the mainstream media. And I must say the podcast since the day, at least they are able to reach out, especially in areas that have been neglected. And thank you so much for inviting me. Yes, I am an activist, and before you become either a worker or a participator anyway, you are a member of a community.
Before?
Yes. So I used to tell my former colleagues that I used to work with, you cannot ignore issues that are in the community. Because of before Ukala Oyamsebeti, you happen to reside in a particular locality. So you must be concerned. And a nature of a human being, we are social beings. So meaning that we need to be actively involved, socially and politically, got the issues that involve our community.
Okay.
That's my first name. Ruth Ntlokotse. I grew up in Soweto. I attended school, go St. Matthew's, and then I completed during the olden days the apartheid. And I studied go Technical Witwatersrand then, which is UJ now. I did my chemistry and I went for Johnson Matthew Monegieta, my in-service training, where I worked as in the laboratories, to cut the story short. And I was elected as a shop steward under Numsa. And when we enter into a workplace, we were told by batho ba ne re ba thola moo hore for you to be a worker, you must belong to a trade union.
Yes.
That's how we were orientated and inducted. And the trade union that was in our workplace, it used to be somehow, and there was a demarcation dispute that we lost because of, by then we believed that because of we were quoting catalytic converters, our scope was fall under chemicals, only to find that that was not the case.
Yeah.
Then after we lost that demarcation dispute, that's when we joined Numsa. And I grew through the ranks.
Yeah.
At Numsa, I served in the local. Because of our workplace, it was in Chimiston. I became very actively involved there, where I was elected as deputy secretary of the local in Chimiston. They used to call it Vusi Podcast.
Yes.
And then I became a gender secretary. And then I was later elected as the member of the Regional Finance Committee. And then I was elected as the treasurer of the region. That was in 2012. And then the chairperson of the region, the gender. And then later on, I was also elected as the national chairperson of gender, like at Numsa. Like I'm saying, I grew through the ranks of Numsa. And I also served in the National Finance Committee. And in 2016, I was elected the chairperson of the region here in Ekurhuleni.
Yeah.
And the very same year, I was also elected the deputy president of Numsa. So I served in Numsa.
So that was 2016?
That was 2016. 2016, remember, that was the year where we renewed the mandate.
Yes.
So I was elected here as the deputy chairperson, as the chairperson of the region. And then December, I was elected as second deputy president of Numsa. And maybe just to deal with the roles that I occupied, 2022, I was elected as the president of South African Federation of Trade Unions. And I must indicate that I couldn't finish my term properly in Numsa because I was dismissed. I was firstly suspended on the 12th of July, 2022. And then immediately after that, I approached the court as the law-abiding citizen of this country who believed that there's recourse in each and every step. Then I approached the court. My suspension was lifted. And 2023, I was served with charges. And then among other charges, it was argued that because I accepted nomination to be nominated in SAFTU, they said I undermined the processes internally. That was the main charge. And I was later expelled in the federation, in Numsa.
For accepting the nomination?
Yeah.
In 2022?
2022, for being elected as the president of SAFTU. In actual fact, that was the main charge. And the other one, the charge that I was expelled for, it was indicated that I defined myself out of collective because there was the decision that was taken by the General Secretary. I cannot say it's National Office Bearers because of at no stage where there was a meeting of the National Office Bearer where they were going to support the National Numsa Investment Company that was actually challenging the curatorship. And I had to write a letter distancing myself from that decision of supporting the investment company to challenge the curatorship. My reasons, I think it was explicit. That's the letter I wrote on the 7th of February, where I was explicit that, Numsa Investment Company, the policies, workers were complaining about the policies, funeral policies that were offered by that investment company. My argument was, how do you act contrary to the workers that you represent? So those were the two main charges that I was expelled for. So just to move forward, I was meant to attend a disciplinary hearing on the date, the section 189, because of the company that I used to work for, it has actually closed. And the date of the disciplinary hearing coincided with my Section 189 consultation process. I would have written the letter indicating that I'm unavailable because of the Section 189, and then nonetheless the disciplinary hearing proceeded in my absence, and I was expelled in my absence. Basically, that is that. And I think my conviction, my conscience is clear, because I believe that attending Section 189, it was very pertinent for me.
Okay.
Because as a shop steward, your primary role is to represent workers who elected you. And I had to be there. I mean, it's common cause. I mean, I'm a seasoned shop steward and very experienced. And there was no way that the Section 189 consultation process was to take place if I'm not there. Like, neglecting that process and go and attend the disciplinary hearing because of we need to prioritize as an individual. And then I realized that my priority, it was to be there during difficult times when workers were facing a very bleak picture. I mean, if the companies announced the closure, definitely there was a lot of uncertainty. Workers were a bit restless about their future, and they would wanted that at least we need to secure as much possible, the package. So for me to be there to ensure that I push the employer, it was paramount important for me to attend.
As an experienced shop steward.
As an experienced shop steward. And I pride myself that I am an experienced shop steward. So basically that's who I am. And in terms of I think I gave a bit of an overview of the role, my role in the life of the trade union. And believe you me, even now I'm still an activist.
Yeah.
I'm still assisting workers in their disciplinary hearing. I'm still assisting workers in their Section 189 consultation because I am experienced in that field. I offer support and
Comrade, President, I know you have touched on many issues. I just want to find out here, maybe you explain to us to say, while attending the Section 189 in your company, giving effect that you're supposed to attend the hearing, what was the take of NUMSA as a trade union then? Because of the option was that let me go to assist the workers in terms of Section 189, and at the same time we expected to attend the hearing.
Coincidentally, our Section 189A consultation process was taking place at Birchwood.
Yeah.
And my disciplinary hearing, it was taking place at Birchwood.
Yeah.
And then we were at international section, that Birchwood.
Yes.
The conference room where the Section 189 was taking place, and they were almost opposite.
Okay.
I would have seen NUMSA's witness, the chairperson of the hearing, and then we were on the other side. I mean, we all saw each other. We even greeted each other. Like I said, that during lunchtime, or even when we were grabbing some cup of teas, they were on the other boardroom, I was on the other boardroom. And when I wrote the letter to the General Secretary of NUMSA, that I even attached the notice of the Section 189, that can you postpone the hearing?
Yeah.
And he never responded. And then I felt that my priority was to represent workers for Section 189. So I only realized later when he was writing that other comrades would have, like, my presence was not that important in that Section 189. I could have gone and attended the disciplinary hearing. So that's why I'm saying that my conviction, even my conscience, it's clear that the decision that I took, it was for the best interest of members. And if I were to be confronted with a similar situation, I would do the same. Yeah.
Tell me.
No regrets.
Yeah. Your relationship with the entire office bearers nationally, while now you're still the president of NUMSA, how was the relationship? Before the whole saga and all that.
Let me tell you, I used to say the Numsa then and the Numsa now. The current Numsa, it's no longer the Numsa that was coined by the forebearers. You know, sometimes when the leaders sit down and decide on the trade union, the principle, the aims, the values that the union should stand for, this is not what the current Numsa of Ivan Jim stands for currently. So I will continuously be referring to the Numsa then and the Numsa now. The Numsa then, it used to be the Numsa that cares for its members. And one of the fundamental principles that used to define the union, it was the worker controlled, meaning that workers from the shop floor used to dictate the direction that the union is to take. But the Numsa now, it's the Numsa that gets dictated by an individual. And the unfortunate part is that, I'm coming from a region, or how I was orientated, how I was inducted in this union, was that once you're given a platform, issues should be raised internally in a meeting. And the union didn't encourage, or the leaders or the people who inducted or orientated us, that it is of no use that once you're given an opportunity to raise issues in a meeting, you don't. When you go out, you start raising issues. You know, I went even to the head office with that principle. And the unfortunate part was that I became unpopular because of I would speak truth to power. I would raise my issues. And if I don't agree with you, I will raise it that, let's agree that we disagree. And I'll tell you the reasons.
Formally so.
Yes, I'll tell you the reasons as to why I don't agree with you. And the Numsa then, it used to be the union where you're not going to be labeled even after the meeting about the issues or the views that you would have shared internally in the meeting. So as time goes by, that principle, it was no longer the same. People would want to say things that will make an individual happy.
Okay.
But I can tell you that if I were to respond on the question that you posed about the relationship, I used to have a good relationship with other national office bearers, including himself.
Yeah.
Because I, for one, believe that once I would have raised issues, there's no enmity there. But I can reflect that I was not welcomed, especially by him. And sometimes when you go to congresses, obviously there will be preferences. People will express their preference. I know that I was not his preferred candidate, but I would take it that once the democratic processes
take place,
have pronounced, then irrespective of who was your preference before the Congress, you need to move as per the decision taken by workers. So I was not his preferred candidate. I know even how he would, I remember there were times where there would be some confront. There was a time where he even wanted to be physical. I think that's an issue that I'm going to touch on when dealing
but
with
before you
issues
continue
of women.
on that, do you think maybe he was this personal because of maybe when Ole Muthu wa mme, or it was nje into her naturally?
I think it's both. Because I remember during the lobbying process, it was indicated that I'm not an easy person to manage. So that on its own, you undermine that I was not a preferred candidate because I was not an easy person to manage. So meaning that in order for you to be managed, you must be a yes.
Yes, boss.
Yes. You must not agree almost on each and everything.
Yeah.
And he was someone that if you disagree with him, he doesn't even mind. He wouldn't even mind to be personal. That's why I'm saying that there was a time where we were seated in a meeting. He stood up where you could see that he wanted to be physical towards me. And yeah, that's the nature of the relationship I used to have, specifically with him. And then with other national office bearers, they were fine, you know. That working relationship, because at some stage when you are in that position, it's not about how a person feels about you as in, like, personally, but you are there to ensure that you lead workers, you lead the union, you drive campaigns as agreed by the National Congress.
So this is why you are saying the NUMSA of Ivan Jim.
That's the NUMSA of the Ivan Jim. Yeah.
And is the now NUMSA of
That's
Ivan
the
Jim.
now.
And
That's
you
the
are
now.
referring to say the NUMSA then, it used to operate in an organizational way more than now.
Yes. And let me just raise something that is very pertinent, especially on this point. Before I was expelled, because of our approach court, I went from pillar to post, from court, one court to another. I lost some of the battle and I won some. The company that I used to work for, before it winds off its operation, the employers who affiliate under NACAM, and there was an AGM of NACAM, I think in Johannesburg North. I can't remember that place where that conference was taking place. And I don't think he was aware that I was present in the audience. He was he was given a platform to speak on behalf of the union. Obviously, NACAM is an employer association, and the NUMSA was invited. He spoke about Johnson Matthey's retrenchment, how about 600 of employees lost their jobs, and then as the union, they had to make sure that they protect their jobs. And I couldn't believe it, because he's the very same person when I was attending Section 189, as an experienced and a seasoned shop steward. He felt and he believed that it was not important for me to be there. And at no stage where he even went or he even received a report from the official that was dealing with the Section 189. So for him to go out and address the Employers Association as if like the union that he lead, because of the impression that he gave in that AGM was that as the union, they had to do this, of which, it was like, that's when I realized that the union has actually drifted from its founding principle of caring for its members, prioritizing the issues that are affecting workers.
So you're saying, for being expelled, it was not the decision of the entire trade union, but your expulsion was based on a certain individual. That is the secretary of NUMSA.
Let me tell you about my suspension.
Sure.
The union that is mandate driven, you need to get a mandate from the plant, the locals, the regions, and that's when the issues will be discussed either at the level of the National Executive Committee or the Central Committee. The report that proposed or that came up with my suspension, it was an agent meeting that was called without the regions being mandated.
Okay.
And then they suggested suspension, then I was suspended. Yeah. That was, I think, on the 15th. I was suspended on the 15th of July. 2 weeks later, it was supposed NUMSA was going for a national congress.
So proper consultation never took place?
No. That's why from time to time I would say, I used to go out, even address various media platforms, saying that I was never expelled by workers. I was expelled by NUMSA by Ivan Jim with some of his corrupt National Executive Committee members. Because of I do have even proof it's known that some of the members of the National Executive Committee or the Central Committee are corrupt. I was expelled by them.
Oh.
I was suspended by them.
Okay.
And then I went to court, and then the court, my suspension was lifted by court. And then later on I was expelled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they were to appeal the decision of the court most later on.
Yeah, they didn't appeal
Okay.
my lifting of the suspension. But a year later, I was issued with charges and then later expelled. Yeah.
So if now, in 2022, I just want to go back a bit, Beachwood, Congress of SAFTU,
Yeah.
you were elected as a deputy president.
The
there,
president of SAFTU.
and by the majority. What do you think maybe it was an issue for him not to accept you as a nominee to that position of a deputy president?
No, it was not a deputy president.
It was a president, by the way, yeah.
I was elected as a president. Like I tell you at the beginning, that I was not his preferred person.
But the people have spoken.
The people have spoken. And I can tell you that I received the highest votes,
Yes.
even more than that of
Yeah.
Zolin Zimavavi.
Yes.
Yeah. I was elected with the highest number
Yeah.
of people in that Congress. Yeah, so I was not his preferred candidate. Like I said, Hori, 2016 when I was elected, they used to, during the lobbying, he would say he's not an easy person to manage. So by virtue of me being, I'm not a tough person,
Yeah.
but I just, we need to engage each other.
Yeah, Julius Malema used to say he's not just a pushover.
Yeah, but I believe you me, I'm a very nice person. I work with people, I can be engaged, I engage people, I raise my mind, I speak my mind, and I speak truth to power. So I guess these are some of the things that he was not in agreement.
Now, let's rush quickly to the Congress, 11th Congress of Numsa, Cape Town.
Yeah.
To my understanding, you guys, you were to take Numsa to court. And bear in mind that Numsa were to spend something like, 30 million rand in terms of transportation, so on and so forth. Now, what was the reasoning behind that?
That court decision that suspended,
Yeah.
that actually interdicted that Congress, it was the one that pronounced on my, the one that lifted my suspension. Remember, there were other leaders who were also suspended from other regions. And there were quite a number of other issues that would have raised. And the unfortunate part is that they proceeded, let alone that the court would have pronounced, and they elected themselves. And I never went to attend that Congress. And because of, like I said, that I was suspended 2 weeks before the Congress, and then we had to approach the court on agent basis. And the judgment was issued Saturday. Friday, Saturday, I cannot recall the dates very well. And the Congress was starting on Monday. So there was, I couldn't even attend that Congress. Yeah. So
Why are you saying they were to elect themselves? I mean, it's a Congress. People were supposed to vote.
The road
there.
towards that Congress, they were very brutal. They were very brutal.
How brutal?
People were suspended.
Yeah.
I mean, a total of about 53 people were suspended, including myself. Other provinces, like Mpumalanga, they didn't go for a Congress. Western Cape, I mean, there were a lot of back and forth. So you could see that the provinces that was not in agreement with him, they had to make it a point that they deal with those regions.
Educate us. Now, the Mpumalanga, and you said the Western Cape.
Mpumalanga, Western Cape, even here in Ekurhuleni, and some of the comrades in Hlanganani, where they were quite aware, like in Hlanganani, Hlanganani's Pretoria, and Northwest and Limpopo. There was a local in Mafikeng. That local was not in agreement with them. I mean, they had to do so many things that in ensuring that the people that were not in agreement with them, they're not going to be part and parcel of that Congress. And the reason why he decided to suspend me, he was aware that if he would have allowed the process to go like smoothly in the Congress, I was going to emerge overwhelmingly so. If you would have allowed the democratic processes, workers to decide who they wanted, I was going to imagine.
Which position, by the way, were you contesting?
I was going to go for the first deputy president.
Okay.
Yes, I was going to emerge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And at no stage whereby you were to disturb him. So why would he maybe decided with his, like you've said, corrupt comrades stop you from going to the Congress, giving effect that you're not contesting the secretary position?
I mean, if he doesn't want you within the collective, because of once you are a part of a collective, you've got access of information. And I had access of information that illustrates that he was corrupt. He is corrupt. Yes.
How so?
I mean, if you're a member of the National Office Bearer, documents get shared with you, information will be shared with you, yes. And the very same court that they wanted to review its decision was the court that would have pronounced about his corrupt relationship. I mean, issues of the cars that he bought for the child, and issues, I mean, there are quite a number of issues that were lifted from that court judgment, that the one that they wanted to appeal.
But I understand, my understanding, hence I've said, this sitting is about more of educational. Now, my understanding, and I stand to be corrected, the secretaries, they're getting to be paid much money. So why do you think that he were to buy cars and his daughter and all that with the trade union money?
That man is corrupt. He's earning more than $1 million.
Yeah.
That man is corrupt. Yeah. And you know, I was engaging other comrades and telling them that if you can see most of the trade unions that are collapsing, issues of investment company are central. Issues of secretaries taking control and taking charge of the union, it's very central. And that's where the demise and the collapse of many trade unions are centered. I was even telling this comrade that if we were to do a bit of a review or own introspection, I don't think that position of the secretariat, it should be an elected position, because of that's where the demise or instability of the union. I mean, if he so believed that certain programs, they cannot be undertaken, then it's going to happen. And without any recourse. I mean, it's the law unto himself that.
Okay.
That's why continuously I would be saying that that's the Numsa then and the Numsa now. They're there then Numsa.
Sure. Now that you're no longer the president of Numsa and SAFTU, the Congress of Numsa in Cape Town, you are saying Yoshanganani and Mpumalanga and others didn't form part of that Congress.
No, Shanganani they were, but there was a local that
did. Now tell me, in your own understanding, do you think the processes were fair? Meaning, all other regions they didn't form part of it.
That was our main argument. Hence, the Congress was interdicted. The judge would have agreed with us, because we would have made a submission that Congress, it was never constituted as per the Constitution. And the court was in agreement with us. Hence, he interdicted the Congress. Yes.
Have you made peace with that, of what happened?
No, I've made peace with it. I've made peace with it, and I still maintain that what I did, it's correct. And it was for the best interest of workers who elected me. And you know, sometimes when you get elected, leaders, you think about the second term to such an extent that you don't want to antagonize or you don't want to be seen in a bad light, because of once you start antagonizing people or speaking truth to power, you run a risk of not being elected. When I was elected in 2016, I told myself that I was given one term.
That's
And
it.
I need to represent workers. So once you start thinking of the comeback, I'm telling you the truth, you're not going to do anything. You'll end up being lukewarm. When you're supposed to raise your views, you will be saying, Esh, what if I start antagonizing people?
You'll shy away.
Yes. So one term, the term of office, it was one term, and that's it. That's it. So that was my modus operandi. And believe you me, there were times where I was getting messages that were threatening me. I even had to leave home at some point because of us getting messages that were threatening me. I've made peace with it. And even now I'm at peace. And I still believe that given an opportunity, or if we were to ask me a question, what is it that I believe could have been done different? I think my involvement, how would I would have raised issues, how would I have taken the most corrupt people who camouflage or masquerade as if like they are there to represent the best interest of workers, how I would have exposed them. I believe that I can still do the same even now. No regrets, absolutely no regrets. Yes.
So, with other members that were to be suspended and later on being expelled from the trade union, now some of them, they've formed their own trade union, that is Mawusa. Yes. My question is to you, as a former president of Numsa and Federation, that is SAFTU, are you part of that?
Yes.
And the second question will be, now that...
Can I elaborate further?
Please.
The reason I supported the formation of Mawusa, there were some processes where we would sit down and reflect. Like I said, that the Numsa then and the Numsa now, that the Numsa now, is it still worth it to be fought for? And we had to debate amongst ourselves that we did everything. We went to court, we approached various institutions with an intention of corruption watch. We went to many institutions just to complain. And then we came to a conclusion that we did almost everything. And the Numsa now is no longer the union that is worth fighting for. Hence the decision for me, Mawusa, was taken. And I can tell you, I can safely confirm that I'm one of the people who is in the forefront. And it was not an easy process when the registration started. Because to register a trade union is not an easy exercise. And we were rejected, but ultimately we ended up receiving the certificate. And I can confirm that the registration, the recruitment is going very, very well. Workers are coming in. They're even phoning the office. And, you know, our primary focus, when we ultimately came to a decision of forming the trade union, we realized that about 77% of workers are unorganized. And then our primary focus was that let's concentrate on that 77% that is organized. And then we even came to a conclusion that we need to be a trade union that moves with time. We need to be a trade union that utilizes AI, technology. We need to be the trade union that appeal to the youth. We need to be a trade union that would have learned from where we're coming from. We don't have to repeat the mistakes that we observed from where we're coming from.
Mme Ruth, let's go back. I want to get this right.
Yes.
You've been expelled from Numsa and with your other comrades.
Yes.
Now, my thinking is that maybe you would have fought within Numsa. Why didn't you lay amen saying, we are going to fight for this, we still believe in the then Numsa, rather than lay to open other trade union?
We did. We went to court. Yeah. And you know how expensive are court. And I remember when I was dealing with my appeal in the Central Committee, I was with the legal representative that was representing me. And some of the comrades were saying that I need to pronounce who's funding me. I can safely confess here that I used to even to get calls of people who volunteered to assist me. Because if I went out publicly, I addressed different media platforms. And people were saying, how can we help you? And we were assisted by people who felt that the struggle that we were waging within Numsa, it was the principled one. It was for the best interest of the most vulnerable, which are workers who are exploited in the shop floor. And we fought. We went to court. Even now I can tell you that there are still matters that are pending in court. And at some stage, you need to call it a day, especially after realizing that the battle that, I don't want to say war, the battle that you are fighting is still worth it. And that's when we came to a conclusion that, you know what, we lost some or gained some, but what is important is that we would have speak truth to power. We never wanted to be counted as people who were part and parcel of collapsing the union. So, I mean, I'm very confident that during my tenure, I was not there to enrich myself or there for the benefits that are there. I was there to represent workers.
Now, speaking the truth to power, here's my concern. The more we deviate to other trade unions, the divided we are. Now, with the Mausa and Numsa, you know, you guys, you've got knowledge on how the trade unions runs and all that. Now there's Mausa on the other hand. The confusion, co-plant level over Sevitz. Are you guys concerned about that? Because you'll have trade union, two unions in one company, if not three, right? And now you get into a boardroom with the management. Because of you are bleeding to each other, even if maybe they agree on the issue, but because you are bleeding, do you think maybe you'll come up on that meeting with one voice?
Okay, let me tell you something, that what was eminent, what was apparent, I beg your pardon, was that workers were no longer treated the same. And your plant was going to be given a priority, depending on who you are. How close are you to the office of the General Secretary? Like I said, that we went through a company closure where about 600 workers lost their jobs.
Okay.
At no stage where he was closer. We would have companies where workers, they would go for strike, they would get the strike fund. We would have companies that go for strike, they will never get the strike fund. So, how workers were treated, it was all about who you are. So is it really what workers should be subjected to? I don't think it should be the case. To such an extent that even when workers are expelled, you're meted to receive a particular attention, whether it gets referred to a particular legal firm. You know, there are companies, when they're going through Section 189, the Office of the General Secretary will come with the entourage of financial people who are crunching numbers during the consultation process. The lawyers will be there. And there are companies where you won't even see that kind of a privilege. Why must workers be subjected to that? So that's why I'm saying that it might be viewed in the manner in which you are seeing it. But I can tell you that what was emerging was, especially in the Numsa now, was that workers were no longer treated the same. That's why we felt that we waged our good fight, we raised issues sharply, so we went publicly, we approached different entities. It's time that we need to move on. And I can tell you that some of the workers, because of, you know, our focus now, we don't concentrate on companies that NUMSA operates. Like I said, that we've got about 77% of workers that are unorganized. Others, they're even calling us.
They want to join.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if workers are calling us and said, come, do the presentation up, definitely we'll go there. Because of some of the workers, they would be raising issues that are known to us. That are known to us. That these are some of the issues that would have raised. We're still waiting for the union to come back with the feedback. Until such time, there's no response. So our primary focus is to engage workers and ensure that we are there for workers who are faced with exploitation in the workplace.
But before we get there,
Yes.
I just want you to tell me your relationship with the office bearers of SAFTU as a leadership. Your relationship with Ntatezwili. How was it?
We used to have let me tell you, during our Section 189, we received support from SAFTU to an extent that during the consultation process, he was part. Like he would come just to get sense what is happening, where he can be able to help us. Even when we were approaching departments such as the Department of Trade and Industry, he was in the forefront. So the relationship with SAFTU and other SAFTU affiliates, it was good even to date. Like I said, I'm an activist. I'm still involved in activities of SAFTU, like as an activist. Yes.
So you was okay with you and your other comrades to now open the trade union that is Mausa?
The unfortunate part is that we didn't want permission from him. We were the one who were in the cold front. We were the ones who were like who were dealt with internally in NUMSA. So when we took that decision, it was not for a person like maybe SAFTU either to confirm or not to confirm the decision. So the people who were affected, NUMSA, these are the ones who ended up ultimately taking the decision. So we never wanted the approval from it. Because even SAFTU, we approached SAFTU. When we were still confronted, there are letters that we wrote to SAFTU. Yes, so
you didn't get any response from them then?
No.
What do you think maybe could be the reason?
They tried, because of also I was also with their National Executive Committee. They would write to NUMSA. NUMSA will be accusing them about interference and stuff like that. So,
now, the president ya SAFTU,
yes.
and it's in public,
Yes.
where the headlines were to say the leadership of SAFTU and NUMSA are breathing so heavily on each other's neck. Was that true?
We know Jim, how he operates. If he doesn't control you, he's not going to like you. You know, the General Secretary of SAFTU is very independent. So he thought that now that he was expelled in COSATU, he was going to control him. So, and the unfortunate part is that it was not the case. So that's the major reason why he disliked the General Secretary of SAFTU.
Okay. When you check this region, I'm talking about Ekurhuleni region, when you check this region then and now, which era maybe would you say it was the best?
You know, sometimes people will say, I'm saying this because I was there. Ekurhuleni region used to be the region, even within the union, that would raise issues sharply.
So I was told.
Yes. It used to raise issues sharply. When it comes to campaigns, it was there. And that's not what we were saying. Maybe someone might argue it's because of we are outside. But I can tell you that there were activities that were taking place within the union. And maybe another thing that I didn't even raise, I'm just thinking about it now, was that one of the reasons that he didn't like me was that...
That is Ivan now?
Yes,
okay.
I took advantage of worker education, NUMSA. I can tell you that, okay, I was coming with my education from Gone those days. When I started to become a shop steward, the then Numsa would educate shop steward from being a sweeper to engineer.
Yeah.
You know that strategy of sweeper to engineer?
Yeah.
That was the motto of Numsa. I did my first year through worker education of Numsa. In actual fact, I started through the program Mathematics Social Theory. Then immediately after that, I passed that social. It was a year course. I went to Vusi University. From first year up to until master's, I've just registered my PhD now. Okay, PhD is outside. But from first year up to until the level of master's, I was taught by Numsa. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I can go out publicly and say that I was taught by Numsa. And Numsa was the then Numsa. It used to be the union that capacitate its shop steward because of they believe that you are in a forefront of defending workers. And the shop steward, he or she is the one who gives life to the union in a plant. So if you are not capacitated, meaning that you are destroying the union in that plant. So I took advantage of that. So when I would engage him, I would engage him from an uniform position.
Okay.
And when sometimes he would send reports in early hours. And tell her it's that time when I'm busy with my research.
Yeah.
I would read it. I go to now I can read. Because of first we were told, you cannot lead if you don't read. You cannot lead if you don't start. So you must do the same. Two, both of them. But reading, it was one thing that was emphasized, that the current affairs, the current development, if you're a shop steward, if you're a leader, you must read from time to time.
Now, speaking of reading, in terms of, to be equipped with the knowledge, during your time, education was there. Numsa ne provider with that kind of platforms. Now, currently, do you think the Numsa still does that to the shop steward?
Let me tell you what he did. That social theory program that I was talking about, it used to be something like an en route. We would do social theory, then some of the people, they'll go to vets, others, they'll do the labor law end. And there were times where they would complain, the producer, the anarchist, because of, we were taught how to be a critical thinker. And when you're a critical thinker, obviously, once information gets presented to you, you must assess it critically. So he wrote a letter to Vusi University discontinuing that program.
Why do?
Like I'm telling you that he was saying that it produces anarchists. So that program was discontinued. And the current trainings that are taking place are through service providers, through the CETAs, and as well a lot of corruption is taking place in between. But that training that would give shop steward, it's no longer the training that is taking place within Numsa. When I talk about health and safety, and that is why from time to time shop steward will be relying on the official. Now official like to be planting I used to handle difficult. The company that I used to work for, it was the multinational company. We used to engage with my shop steward committee. We used to engage on difficult topics without the involvement of the official. The only thing that we would do is say, let me just check with you whether I'm in line before the meeting, but not necessarily, or we cannot move with issues because of the official is not there. And then I believe once the official African planting, even if anally bet modus operandi, sometimes official, if they want to deal with you, they can come to your plant and the officials. So now officials were not frequenting my plant. And then now, I used to be a worker leader that understand how to planting, what do you want? So that's how I used to operate. Because of officials, they can, yeah.
Now, speaking of the official, role yabona, right, in terms of their engagement with the shop steward, keeping.
We were taught, the first official in the plant is the shop steward. The officials should be there to recruit. to coordinate and to guide the shop steward. Yes. It should be the role of the officials. And the officials, the sad part is that, maybe going back to the question that you posed previously, the shop steward isn't really during the 10 years of Comrade Qilong or even George, to say, because I started to be very active when Comrade George Shoshana was the secretary here. I mean, they're totally different. Totally different. And the sad part is that some of the officials who are already knowledgeable, they're not liked. Some of them they're being expelled, some are being suspended, they're on the verge of being suspended. So it's just a mixed bag, Yeah.
Mme Ruth, okay, ha ke re tso hanyane
Re kena go ya Women's Month.
ke re kene into Women's
Yes.
Month, because of this one it's deep. It lo batla maybe re be le part 2.
Yes.
In 2 weeks re kena kgweding e nngwe very important,
Yeah.
whereby in 1956, right, bomme ha bana ba ya ba masha for the dompas and other things. They really meant that. And ke nana hore ho ba le bomme ba tshwanang le wena ka jeno, it is through that struggle, right? Your message and your take ka kgwedi eo as an activist, as a former president of 2 trade unions, if I may say that's Numsa and the Federation, e ka ba efeng?
Message ya ka ho bomme ke ya hore, bomme, we are continuously in a cold front. Not only the month of August. I used to tell comrades, Hori, the struggle against maybe gender-based violence, it has to be 365 days. Because of once confined to the month of August, we'll ended up losing some of the important aspects that has to be attended to. The struggle is throughout, and message you go bomme re tshwara thipa ka bohae. Bomme, we can do so many things, and we are being trial and tested, or we are equal to the task. Re la re ya pele. And we need not to drop the ball now that we are confronted with so many things. I mean, issues such gender-based violence, continuous, and we ended up loser in front of people who should be protecting us. Or let's stand up, really, batho ba bomme, and ensure hore re ruta bana ba rona. And this thing of a social construct, the boy child is expected to do this, the girl child is expected to do this. And I think we need to debunk woven. And then rebe society e rutang bana ba rona hore expectation, it's the same. And how do we grow bana ba rona irrespective of their social I don't like this thing agenda, like I'm saying, hore. I'm a gender conformist, although I admit hore in a certain limitations, you understand? Especially when it comes to dealing the issues intersectionality. Hore expectation ya bana ba rona re ba hodisa, it has to cut across, irrespective hore ngwanyana or moshibadi, you understand? I think we need to debunk that approach rona re hodisitsweng ka yona. And how to check the cold face e ke buang ka yona, ho na le struggle sa climate change, it's real. We check the areas that are being affected by the cold climate shocks. You look at Eastern Mthatha, the people who suffered the most, understand? And then we check areas, especially informal settlement, people who are being hit hard by climate shocks. Like a whole. That's why I'm saying that the struggle se batho ba bomme ba confrontaneng ka tsona seemingly kare ntse sia sehlome kwa lapha, like it's mountain.
Yes.
You understand? And we need to be there for each other. We need to support each other. We need to keep ensure the strength se batho ba bomme ba ba nang le sona ba se tshwara throughout. I mean, if you got to check the areas tse tshwana le boma Mpumalanga, let alone Mpumalanga is a province enaling mashala. I don't believe it should be what they didn't tell me, but at the same time people are suffering the most, but so the month of August is just a I celebrate, I commemorate, and then reveal the struggles in 1956. But one thing that I can attest, the struggles are on, c'est continuous. The family, the mental health, because of Leonaki we are the issues taken and and we tend to neglect it. Understand that in as much as resority that on its own, the limitations that they impact that they affect depression and we need to take care of each other. We need to take care of ourselves. Maybe haraka dedicate this month, August, for mental health. It's very important. There are so many things that are in terms of the substance abuse. I'm not suggesting what that day had affect their own. But statistics is reveal how many families out there they pilang without bone. And I gonna go to bana ba shebane le substance abuse. Kamo omme o tlamelo tshware thipa ka bogale. Wa understand in ensuring gore dintho di ba like handle. That on its own ihlaha mental challenges. You understand? So concentration yaka, I know or maybe I was so pronounced on the message here this or maybe I was not following it closely. But issues of mental health, I think it's one of the things that we need to take them very, very serious.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
You depend how Karinine, Kidifi.
I'm an activist.
Okay.
I grew up being a Catholic and I attended school I grew up so matriculated at St. Matthew's, which is a Catholic school. Yeah. And sometimes trade union it changed our lives because of most of the responsibility or activities that are taking place over the weekend. And you ended up neglecting that spiritual part of being close to God. You understand? So I can safely confirm and attest, I went back to church. And I realized, what I was going through, especially what Numsa did to me. I never suffered any depression. And you understand? So I went back to church. And I'm intending to be actively involved in activities. I attend activities like a reggae and but I'm moving towards committing myself to a solidarity. So depending on what will be happening in church or any maybe a invitation or a mausa or even other working class organization, but definitely like an activist, I will be actively involved.
Okay. President, as we conclude, 2 things, just in 2 minutes. The frustration the graduates, more especially who batho ba bomme. Now ke bua ka dithaka tsa ka. Whom banal qualifications tse ba breakang ka tsona plekeng tsa jwala because of they are frustrated because of aba khone fumana mesebetsi, right? You take on that one. 2, not so long ago there was a guy by the name of Thabang Moloi, by the way, ke le kgolo ko le yena, a tswang from Soweto to Pinville, who came here a tlo bua issue ya the foreigners whom are occupying permanent jobs mo Al Road, right? The stand sa a trade union mo, because it was a march and then we felt it's fella mo. After getting that message, what do you think maybe should any trade union maybe ile ya deal ka yona issue?
Okay, let me deal ka education.
Yeah.
Now I'm of the view hore the focus now it has to be on skills, ne? Skills courses, ne? Bana ba rona ba ile dikolong, and then like in an academic space, but a degree and one of the weaknesses in a pick up curriculum, those tertiary institutions is not aligned to our workplaces. To an extent, you go to university. You get my point? I'm from the Technicon. People who used to come from Vusi University, never bought our road. Understand? And the Technicons, by then, they were known for skills and stuff like that. So that's why I'm saying, depending on understand. But concentration, it has to be more on skills courses. Because of how especially in the world of work, they're no longer giving priority to the qualifications, sellers about the degree, or this is, let alone who administration are creating service. And I mean, economy are the way linking I creating service, but more basebasa day. Mutwateng wa khona hore a tswe tertiary ha tla tlo qala o thole hore maybe tlamile a qale a ithute from the scratch. And okay, le dintho tse introducewang ke government ya rona ya boyes wa khona ho bona hore youth incentive schemes tsa teng tse le tse di bonang hore it's just to tick the box ba tlo re create mesebetsi mengaka. But bana ba rona ba tsamang ba dikolong, including us, ba sa thole mesebetsi is quite frustrating. Maybe it's more systemic. Administration are like creating mesebetsi. There's high rate of unemployment, and ba alawa di ntho di tampiwe ka mo di company ya kwala ona tse ArcelorMittal, it's in a process of winding down. How many people will be retrenched? Bona good year, about 904. So to an extent, they already that good year, barking that euthanasia, it will end up a ghost city because of once companies are continuously closing down, it's gonna be a ghost city. So it's quite frustrating. And then the institutions that are made or the entities that are made create mesebetsi. Corruption is key on anything. The cities, they are meant to deal with gap year NET, not in employment or education and whatever area. So many of our youths these positions that are SAPS. How many people would have applied and how many vacancies there are there? So there's quite a number of frustration, especially in that space. And country neglecting youth here, it's bound to or be doomed. You understand? And then issue of the foreigners, I'm not xenophobic. But at the same time, believe we were screwed up by administration or not through corruption. By allowing porous borders. Borders are so porous. People can come in. If we check out the way Sri Lanka take, but and we are now recently being told
Banana Republic.
Yeah, we are now being told people when they are pregnant highly expecting but like a base but And with frustration and unemployment rate, with Trump, a withholder that subsidy, the ARVs and stuff like that, society is now frustrated. And you go to the clinic. How if you go clinic, you know what is currently happening. But if truth has to be told, we're screwed up and let down by our administration. So that is why I feel as after run resolution, there was a resolution. Rona, we encourage documented. I know Ilya created a bit of criticisms that resolution taken by SAFT, where we were encouraging the immigrants, they must be legal, they has to be documented. And there was some of the affiliates that have to complain, especially in the truck drivers. Most of them, they were not documented, and they are not falling under bargaining council. And you know, bargaining council would put rules so you drive within a particular time, people must rest and stuff like that. And it is not happening, especially with the people that are not registered. So I still believe that resolution taken by SAFTU, it's a relevant one, and it's applicable, especially in this current conjuncture. So, but operation to do what is happening, the government could have handled it far much different, and society is frustrated. And they ended up, you know, you go to the clinic, a little medication, and government handle far much different as compared to now. Yes.
Mme Ruth, thank you so much. Re leboela nako ya haholo man. Ke re ho wena msuthu weso o be le tsela e tshweu. Have future a right with the current region that you are busy with. You might, we don't know. Or you are there to position yourself, of which maybe it's something that needs to be tested. So, but by the way, thank you so much. We'll try to see if going back home.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me and even give me a platform. You know, sometimes when you're called for an interview, I was even told, when you go for interviews during the day, 3 minutes. So meaning that when they ask you a question, you gallop. Because of once you don't gallop, you wait for a follow-up question, it won't be there. And the message that you want to put across, it won't be there. So if you would want a platform in a message, you must go for the evening one. So the time when he was, but no. If maybe you told an invitation, but not turn down the Mtsari one. And then because they cannot repeat, once about interview, they cannot say SABC or whatever, but repeat. So take the evening one. So even the evening one, how 20 minutes is too much.
It's too much.
Understand? But the platform, I think, are open opportunity so that Lena ke raise what I went through. But I can tell you, I'm a strong woman. Very, very strong. And it was not a coincidence where I went through what I went through. In Kense hore ke be motho o strong, o ke kgonang hore ke shebele ntho la ile kwa go hole and be able hore ke sebedise ntho ya ka bona. So platform mo phileng yona ke a ile ba holo, ke even le tomorrow and ke wishetsa success or le grow. Even on other topics, just venture into as many topics as possible. You understand? But thank you so much for it. Thank you.
Thank you. By the way, re supportwa ke the Zondo Brothers funeral services here in terms of meeting Mme Ruth. Ke bona nka re no tshaba wa because of angotswe a funeral services.
No. No, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
No,
thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, so it's the brand Uncensored is the team I play for. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a question? Okay, come.
Definitely there is a question.
Come closer.
Okay, because this platform is mainly about teaching. We don't take that for granted because we learn every day, we want to know every day. So here's the thing about me. It's actually a question, but at the same time it's a concern, right? When we get information or when we understand the difference between what you call trade unions and politics, we are always being told that the unions focuses on the workplace, right? While politics compasses the broader society. Ne? And then it goes on again to say, union aim to improve working conditions and wages, while political actors aim to govern and influence policy. So question yaka mo ke hore, is it a trade unionist allowed to speak politics and quoting again in their political parties? Can they influence, can they talk their political party by following in the trade unions way now? Because you think in the trade unions, and we get to find people that are coming from different places, different areas, lead their own different politics. So say for instance, there is one trade union or representative are following a certain political party. Are they able to speak the name of their own political party in the trade union?
Okay. You know, in the past, I think building towards the 1994 democratic breakthrough, there were discussions in the union, especially the level of COSAT, when Numsa was labeled as a workerist. Workerist meaning that you concentrate on workplace issues only. And they were termed bread and butter issues, or you discuss only the social conditions, social benefits of workers in the workplace. And there was another view, Hore, you need to broaden your horizon, because of, by virtue of you operating in a particular sector, there are policies that affect in that sector. Let me make an example. ArcelorMittal is in a process of winding down currently. And the bread and butter issues of workers or benefits of workers, they're going to be impacted because of workers are going to be unemployed because of the policy decisions. Policies that get discussed by politicians. Are you telling me or the trade union should not venture into that space in order to shape how that policy should be structured so that workers that they represent can be able to benefit out of that? That's when the issue of broaden your horizon, not only concentrating on the bread and butter issues, came into play. Hore. You are operating, I mean, na company when it closed down 2023, it was centered around the EU policy at decarbonization. Where was it discussed? By politicians. And to such an extent that even here in South Africa, because of, like I said, it's a multinational company, even here in South Africa, the Department of Trade and Industry would have adopted certain policy that would have allowed that company who even beyond its closure. So trade union must venture, must go into that space and be able to shape policies. So that's not the space of politicians. So I don't think we need to narrow down or narrow our understanding about issues like do you elect the president of the country? The nature of a human being, you are a political being. For you to shape issues that related to Maspala, those are politics. That's the nature of the human being. We are political human beings. That is why you will be told, trade union, we are independent, but we are apolitical. So meaning that we address issues that affect, that find resonance into the political space. So influencing which political party that must be elected, I think that's when we go beyond. You understand? That was after we would make an analysis, ya hore, if we were to support, let me make an example. Although there's no distinction between ANC and DA, hore, I support a free market foundation. Free market foundation, there has to be the conditions. We enjoy so many conditions. That is why benefits. That is why we don't have investors in our country. ANC is doing the same. Although Hababua, they follow the neoliberal agenda, but they will tell Hori that is not the case. So, Rona really trade union. We would encourage you, once you vote for that party, you must know these are the things. You vote for the party that will take away the gains that would have been achieved in the past. Don't do this. So those are I can really concentrate on the manifesto. We look at the manifesto, but look at this manifesto. This manifesto, it's relevant to our situation. Look what they are saying. Let's say in ArcelorMittal space, or they will do this, they will. So if maybe we can just support them, but issues are trade union, fairly only on bread and butter issues. They go beyond. You answered.
Just a bit. The Maibuye consultation process, Floyd Wabu Amola, and there's some members, leaders of the Mausa. Are you also part of that consultation?
That's not our Mausa.
That's not.
That's our Mausa is metal mining and allied workers.
Yes.
That one is for the EPWP workers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So Asulunaba.
No, and it's Manda. I don't know Manda and Tonton, but the name Yanali, I think it's more of a.
No, Ronald Clarit.
No, that's not our.
Thank you so much, President.
Thank you so much.
Sharp.
Thank you.